place. Nice. Nice. That's a good girl. Lila, good. Wait, wait. Hello. You thought, okay? Nice and high. Nice and high. Shh. Rig, 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 rig. Rig, 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 rig. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Ha, ha, la, 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 la. Good girl. Good girl. Riggy, 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 how are you, buddy? Hi, how are you? Hi. Hi. Good, yes, you are. Good boy. Good girl, Lila. Lila. Break.
Woo, good girl! She thought about jumping up on the couch.
She was thinking about it, yeah. So that little spin was.
That's what it was. You've taught me how to read dogs.
Oh yeah, you can read them now.
That's very respectful.
Very respectful.
Because she knows you don't want it.
You do a very nice job. She just needs to learn the skill of ignoring her surroundings because she was getting stressed. She was thinking about all the options of what she could do while she was off in the bed. The thing is, that leads to an unreliable dog. It leads to whining, it leads to complaining, and ultimately the dog getting off the bed. So we nipped that in the bud, and we call it a state of mind error because she's raising levels of energy when she's supposed to be at low energy, okay? When I say break, I'm not going after it right now so she can carry herself. Her natural, when she came in, was worse than this, but this right here, I'm gonna go after next. Right there. She's not hot. That's a mind that's going, you know? He's not panting. When he pants like that, he's stressed. If I were to put a piece of meat in front of him and he's starving and told him not to touch it, he would start panting like that. Because it's racing in his mind. right? So whatever's racing in her mind, which is probably all of her old behaviors, being able to have freedom of movement, of just walking wherever, going and doing whatever, she knows that's kind of taken off the table here, but she doesn't give it up fully. She still thinks about the options. So we're going to be going after that next. But we started to tackle it in the kennel and on place. I'd also like to see her do it without being in command. You know what I mean? Just learn to do what he's doing. Read the room and relax. How do you do that? I correct her when she's supposed to be relaxed, but she's not. So if she's free of command, she can walk and find a spot to lay down and chill, but then I'd expect her to chill. If I catch her pacing, I'm going to correct her and then direct her to relax. And I'm going to do that every day. Okay? When I'm trying to relax here and whatever I'm doing, she shouldn't be pacing. If she does, she gets corrected. And that'll create a dog that learns the beats throughout the day and learns to relax when they're supposed to. You know, when it's appropriate to be running around the room or walking and searching for things. It's not appropriate when we're relaxing. Okay? And so when we play with her, we'll be starting the play and we'll be ending the play. So she shouldn't be initiating anything, really. She should just be waiting until you tell her what to do next. Okay? She shouldn't be asking for anything. That flips the dynamic where they think they can tell you what to do then. And they don't have to listen to you anymore either. Okay? So it's always under our influence. Okay? So watch. That's my sound to disagree. Right? And a little tap on the collar. Good girl.
Yeah.
Good. Oh God. Making it work. Good doggy. Okay. So I push. This is nothing that owners. None of this stuff that you're seeing right in this little clip is going to be anything that the owners are going to be doing. When I put my hand on her, she flexes and pushes back. When I click on the collar, she then relaxes. Her association to the stim is to relax. So her whole issue is that she's turned up in energy, but because she doesn't have an outlet with us in the room, all of her old outlets, ends up just, I need her mind to go to where it was on the bed and know that that's how she should carry herself until she's told otherwise, until she's told she can raise her energy. Okay, so this is a dog who wants to be doing activities that have high energy, but we're not allowing it physically, so she's still reliving it in her head. Okay, so she's thinking about it and she's living in this place of, it's a very elevated state of mind. So we're gonna bring it down to where he is, okay? And once I bring it down there, you're gonna see that she's there. As soon as I let her up, she's going to start to elevate, and I'm gonna have to bring her back down and then let her up and until she evens out where he is, okay? So, but the start is this. If I ask her to do something like move that way, and she pushes against or resists, then I correct the resistance. And then she softens, and she gets rewarded for that. That's good. Very nice.
Is it? I got it.
I need a trigger of some sort that's really easy, like a squeaky ball or something. So I can give her the skill of going back to the confidence.
Yeah, I brought you a squeaker.
Thank you. That'll work. Okay.
We need to upgrade our toys.
Yeah, we've gone through some stuff. Okay. Very good girl. So I want to point out something real quick. I can see her and hear her getting more. So her breathing started like this. Her breathing started like this. And as her environment got more stimulating, she started to get more energetic. This is not good for it's not just her, all the dogs do this when they come in. So if I tell her to stay and we're out in public and then all of a sudden the environment gets stimulating, she's gonna rise in energy. We need to let her know that's a no-no. And what the game is here is that she stays in this low energy, and with us, we stay on, her and I will stay in this nice connective, low energy place. That's our relationship together. Unless I say break, let's play. Me and you in the house and out in the world, we exist in this low energy place. So no matter what goes on around us, we're gonna stay there. Even more advanced, if I get energetic, you still stay calm until I release you. Not just physically, but mentally, right? I'm holding her accountable when I teach her this, to hold a low energy until she's offered, or until she's released from the command, okay? Or whatever situation it is. I don't even have to put my dog in a command. Somebody can knock on the door, I can shush him, and he knows to stay low energy, which takes certain behaviors off the table. You can't run across the room and bark and holler with low energy, right? So behaviorally speaking, when you're trying to tell them to not lift their energy up, you're telling them the situation's not for you, I need you to be passive. Okay? So this shouldn't affect her. When I shush her, she knows it means it's not for her. Then me doing this and the environment getting high in energy, she's already, you can already hear it. She's gonna catch on to the game, so that's because if she wasn't in training, she would just be interacting with the environment all the time. You would never be able to say, hey, stop interacting, and she stops and just watches. That didn't happen before. So this is where the stress is because she's not able to go at her free will up on the things. She didn't learn that yet.
Well, look at her at drop off, jumping all over everybody,
right.
pulling.
It's no impulse control at all. I see, I do. There's no thought. Now we're saying you can't necessarily go up on these things, so it's like the vibrating dog, you know? Some dogs don't pant as much and they vibrate more. Some dogs pant more. Some dogs pant and vibrate. Those are like the worst of the worst. They're panting really hard and vibrating. Simply because they can't do a behavioral choice that they want to do. Okay? And that's right before the dog submits. The dog hasn't submitted to the situation means accepting the situation. They're still fighting it mentally. She's still fighting it mentally. She won't be once we teach her the skill. So I'll bring her to 0. I'll trigger her to want to raise her energy. I'll disagree, correct her, bring her to 0, and repeat until she understands the skill of when you're high energy, how to go low. Even in this case scenario, like her mind, right? How to turn it off and to ignore things. That's the skill she needs to learn today, okay? Because this looks fine, you can get away with having your dog in and down like this, but this is an unreliable dog. As soon as something walks by, she's making a mistake. This isn't a dog like him, look at the difference, look at him. He's not complaining about the situation, his energy is low, he's here in the present moment. He is not thinking about the thing that's coming next like she is. Okay, she's thinking about what's next.
You can see it in the eyes too.
Right, so she's not in the moment. She's not balancing her mind right now. She's stressed because what is she stressed about? She's anticipating what's going to happen next, right? Okay, so we've talked about anticipatory anxiety a lot in the past. That's what it is. She's, you know, what's coming next. She's not just accepting that she's just going to hold still and do nothing. Okay. She's catching on there. Good. She's catching on to not go after the thing. A lot of, in the beginning, they go right after it. They break the command, or they react really heavily to it. She's getting the idea that it's not for her. Very nice. Did you see? Okay, now I'm going to give you a demonstration of disagreeing with this. Not a tap on the collar yet. There we go. She puts her head down. When they put their head down, they start breathing through their nose, which makes them take a deep breath, which helps them regulate their system, even the nerves and everything. It's like us taking deep breaths and breathing through our nose. A lot of dogs don't want to go into that state. They do naturally once they submit. They go into that state naturally and they're no longer camping. Okay, especially if it's not hot, which is not. It's actually chilly outside. Okay, so this is the stage she needs to learn to. The skill is for her to be able to self-regulate herself, you know, so she can, we don't have to hound her. So as long as she's trying to calm herself down like this, breathe through her nose, relax, that's great. If she lets herself get all worked up, then I'll correct her and remind her she needs to relax. Okay, so now we're going to go quiet so you can hear her. Not too terrible right now. This is acceptable. She's breathing at a normal rate. She's not hyperventilating. She's still more than, you know, she will be, but it's better than it was a minute ago. Now if I add a trigger in there, this is good. She's using it. Triggers are things that get the dog excited. See the movement? You're not looking at her face, but this is totally exciting. So she just went up. Nobody said for you to go up in energy. She's assuming because the doors jingled that it's for her, so she gets corrected. And then directed. That's an opportunity for her to, she went, ah? That's what I'm talking about. When you see her go from this to ah, that's a no-no. Not while you're in command, okay? Or, not when you're in a situation where I just shushed at you. She's not even technically in a down. It ends up looking like a down because she doesn't know what else to do, like Riggins has other skills because he's not new at this. The only skill she really knows right now is when I shush is to relax, and the easiest way for her to relax is to lay down. Okay, she hasn't got to the point where she's able to relax and, you know, just calm down the mind and walk away and then sit over there. This is more advanced stuff, like Riggins. She needs to use the training wheels, like the commands. Okay? So these are just triggers. These are just sounds to get your dog riled up. Good girl. A leash, anything like that, because it spikes the energy up, and then you get to tell them, no, that's not what you're supposed to do right now, because I shushed you. After I shush, that means calm down, until I say otherwise, until I say, okay, great, now you can kind of loosen up and, you know, have a little bit of energy around and maybe interact a little bit with the environment. But if I shush you, that means to be passive and to relax, because I don't want you dealing with the situation right now, I don't want you interacting with anything. We started with little triggers like this, and then we'll add actual situations with real people and real situations out in the world. See the stress?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The whole energy in the room changes.
You feel it sucked right out of the room.
Yes.
She's throwing anxiety in the room, and it actually is very uncomfortable. That's why dogs correct her. She'll get corrected. by older dogs because that'll be very annoying. They'll say, lower that energy, we're trying to relax. And she'll get bit by them, you know? So it's a dog who never learned impulse control young. She doesn't have it, so she's struggling now.
Directly
it's like going
related
through
to
rehab.
her leash reactivity.
Oh yeah, it's directly related to her release reactivity. I see, I react. Now it's like, don't react, be passive. Let me react and then tell you how, and then direct you and tell you what to do. So you can't just listen to the first thought that comes to your head. That's what makes them more domesticated, is that they listen to us instead of their primal instincts. Okay? It's totally natural for her to bark at other dogs that aren't in her pack. That's what they'll do. Yeah, that's what they do. But then, you know, we correct it and all that stuff. You do it right, then they don't do it. Okay, this is good. Now she's doing it, but look, she can barely hold it. She can barely hold it. She lets her mind. And the tell is the heavy breathing. This is what's great about dogs, is like they're not that complicated. So if her mind goes, it shows on her body. If her body looks relaxed, her mind is relaxed, you know. And then, you know, it's in the eyes too. You see those eyes darting around. That's not a relaxed dog. So we're helping her relax. And this will become quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker, right? First couple of sessions, it's like you're sitting here monitoring like this. And then after she's been through it, it's, you know, it's like maybe one correction here and there. And then when she's a pro, she associates the commands with that state of mind. And all it takes is a little click on the button, and she can hold it for hours, right? Even with the world going on around you, it's good to have that skill. Even if she picks her head up, but I don't see a stressed out mind, she's not getting corrected. It's not about the head being down. But in the beginning, it helps with the head down because it makes them breathe through the nose. And that's just what they do naturally most of the time. It's not like a command necessarily, but if you correct and suggest them to relax, you'll see a dog put their chin down, breathe out their nose, and then you say good, and they kind of know that's what you're going for now. Right? Shh. It's not bad. It's not bad that she's going through it. Look at all these weird behaviors, like she's about to scratch an ear. She doesn't know what to do. Shh. And all I'm saying is yes and no, like not that, yes that, not that, yes that. Try something, give me something. And we go back and forth until we get it, you know. Shh. It's alright, I'm gonna let that be. Yeah. Even if she started cleaning herself or anything, this is not something I'm just gonna do. But then relax her mind, that's fine. I'm all after the mind. But if she can't handle it, if she can't figure it out, I'm going to keep correcting. She'll put her chin down, she'll regulate, she'll go into that nice calm space. Shh. Another thing is we use sound. So I'm going to get her quiet, make sure that I can hear a pin drop in here. She's going to hear her own sound of her breathing heavy, and that's going to be the cue for the correction. So she's going to actually start hearing herself breathe heavy and calm down. And no, this doesn't count. Dogs are smart contextually. This isn't going to happen like outside when we're playing and she's going to like regulate breathe. No. It's in a situation where I need you to be quiet. I've shushed at you and it's in a social setting. I'm telling you to be quiet and nothing is for you right now. Relax. They know. They're not dumb. They know.
I'm waiting for her to give up that right elbow.
Yeah, I'm letting that play out with the licking because I'm wondering if that's one of the ways that she settles herself down. But, because we got all the time in the world, that's the way I look at this. We'll stay here for 5 hours if we have to. That's why we get the job done. But she's looking at me, she's like, am I doing it right? You know? And I'm letting her know. That's a good girl. I like that better.
She actually is trying.
Sure, she's trying. She's not getting punished right now.
Nope.
Any information I give her is low. If she were to fight the system and it looks like I'm not trying, or even worse, I'm
Get
trying,
up, walk away.
That's where she'll get punished. She's just being guided right now. But this is, you know, I'm not down there coddling her through it either. She needs to mature.
Yes.
There's no triggers in the room right now, other than her options in her mind of things that she can do.
Yes.
There's nothing enticing her, and she's struggling in a quiet room.
Yeah.
So, how can we can't move on to having triggers walk through that door.
Yeah.
We need her to go do it with nothing, and then add in triggers. And then when she's good at that, then we'll bring her outside and teach her to do it out there in the real world. Look, this is like what duration place is for. You take hours and teach them to relax. Now I'm just disagreeing silently on the remote because she understands in the context of this situation what's being asked of her. I don't have to keep talking to her. Unless she's very confused, but she's not. The firmer one, I'm going to stop those decisions because she's stuck in a pattern. Good. And that's the one I always say I like. I say, hey, I like that one. You look comfortable and you're not breathing heavy. Now the trigger is me moving around. She's doing well.
I think a big trigger is just you sitting on the couch because she wants to be up there.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like a, that's definitely a trigger, just the couch being here and me doing this, for sure. All that, like we said, the options in her mind are what she's running through. I'd much rather be on a couch, I'd much rather be doing this, I'd much rather look out that window, I'd much rather do this. So, it's not submitting. You know, even now she's not in a submitted mind. She will be by the time this session is over. But I'm milking this session to give her certain learning points so that she has the mechanics that she needs, like the correction of the e-collar when you're in this situation means to relax. I'm giving her reps of that through this experience. Because I could go over there and just put her on her side, and start from there, which, that's one of the things that we do. This is a different skill she's learning. She's learning silently when you feel that in this context, I need you to relax. Okay? So.
Who is it?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah. That's very nice. That's a good job.
That's a boogie, baby. A baby. Who's your baby? Who is it? Are you my cutie girl? You the cutest little girl. Sweet girl. Who's the sweet girl? Oh my God. Very sweet. Very sweet. A good girl. A good girl. Oh, where's she? Where's she? What you doing? Who is it? Who's the baby? Who is it? Who is it? Who is the baby? Who is it? 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 Get it. Where's the boy? Where is it? Where is it?
A little molding.
Yes, my sweet. Good. Very good. Very good girl. I'm very proud of you. Very good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Good girl. You smart girl. Yes, you are. I'm so proud of you. You're so good. Oh, wow. That's very nice. Such a good girl. I'm working really hard today. Who's it? Ricky, 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 Ricky. Very nice.
Who is it?
Wow. I think you're doing so good. Oh, would you mind getting that?
I got the door. Yeah. Hey! Oh my gosh. The trash people are here.
Good, they're my favorite.
In the rain.
They're my favorite.
She's learning. She's doing really good. It's a good skill for a dog to learn. It's going to be so useful for her going on. Oh my God, good job. Oh, very nice. Very good. So proud of you. Yes. This is a big deal for her. You know, to be this calm. You know, even all the trash people here, or even in general. She's not tired. And then the skill is this. I click this, she self-regulates to calm down. Oh, that's good. Oh my gosh, you're doing well. sessions, aren't you?
This is fantastic.
Yeah. A lot of dogs, people don't notice that they're stressed and that they're anxious. This dog is one of them because she's not really whining, but she's stressing. We want her balanced. And until you really know what a balanced dog feels like, you're not going to be able to identify. I think most people see it as happy. It's not what I would identify as happy. I think Reagan's is happy right now.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
a happy dog.
Yes.
He's relaxed. He's in perfect state. Perfect state. No stress. Nothing. That's chewing up his mind. He's just here. He's just waiting. He's not thinking about much. Just chilling.
She's getting there.
The dogs that think about the future too much, they think about all their opportunities and what they want to do next, and they're reacting to everything. See, that caused stress just you because you're an option. I could go up to you.
She wants to run up to me and jump on me.
See, but it's such a slight conversation, but we know what we're looking for here. Her stress pattern, which a lot of dogs, is panting. So you start hearing that back of the throat panting, that stuff, that's stress. That's not, unless she's hot and she just ran 3 miles in the sun, she's just stressing. A lot on her mind, a lot of options. I see that over there, and that's over there, just a racing mind. Versus him, which is a good example. So watch, okay. I know most of this video has been from behind, not really the ideal angle, because a lot of this is in the face. So she's making breakthroughs because she understands the conversation now pretty fully. She's starting to self-regulate. Yeah, it looks good. If she can learn to go into that state most of the time until it's playtime, that she was just in for like a second. She doesn't stay there, but she will, but you know, right there. She's there for a moment, you know, in that perfect space. Starting to tremble a little bit now towards the rear because the breathing's slowing down, so she's going through it. This is a good sign, I think. She's going to end up completely regulating and balancing out here within a few more minutes, maybe 10 more minutes or so. A lot of people tell us their dogs don't know how to relax. And this is definitely a classic case of that. Literally doesn't know how to relax. And that comes from not being submitted as a puppy from another dog or from a human. That's my take on it. If you live in a pack where you have to surrender sometimes, you learn the skills to calm down. You accept you can't always have everything. But when you grow up and everything's handed to you, like this dog with humans, and she's never been disciplined properly, This is what happens when she a year now? Over a year? She's going through it all at once now. All those missed life lessons we're catching up on. That's good. See, Regan's just falling asleep. Just a few years ago, Regan couldn't do this. Not too long ago. I'm almost hesitant to post videos like this because I think most people do not understand what they're seeing. They don't understand what the outcome is and how it's just one part of the recipe of creating a balanced dog.
You've done so many Skypes with trainers about this.
I have.
Because they're feeling something's off, they just don't know what.
They don't know what. And this along with a couple other things that we do balances the dog out.
Yes.
You know, and the critics out there have a definition for things like this. Not necessarily this exact exercise, but they call it forced relaxation. I think, you know, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It's helping the dogs. And maybe they need to be forced to do something every now and then. They're fucking up their lives and everyone else's around it, their owners. If that's what you want to call it, fine. What ends up happening is the dogs, what's interesting is the dogs end up using these skills even when they're not told to use them. Because now they have a skill to calm down. And the dog's healthier. They know how to cope with stress better. I think it falls in the category of tough love, and I think that's what's needed to get these dogs over the hump. That's a rep. Every time she starts to elevate and I correct, and then she lowers her energy and starts breathing through her nose. That's a rep. My trigger was petting her this time. We keep interrupting that stress cycle, and she's starting to learn to calm. This is something she probably doesn't do unless she's sleeping, I would imagine. amazing when you get used to working with energy, what people call energy. And you can feel when a dog's at that perfect balanced place, they're not adding any unwanted energy into the air. You don't even feel them there. They're pleasant. You don't even realize it's there. As soon as they just bring it up to a 1 or 2 or 3 and they start walking around and they start clacking their fucking nails and sniffing up, you can feel the energy in the room. You know, it's like, it's irritating. But as soon as they go to the cereal, it's just like you said, you can feel it just enter the room. It's nice and clear. It's nice and What is it about that? But even if it's silent and the dog's not making a single noise, but they're in the corner stressing, you can like feel it. You're not even looking at it. This is good. Some trembling in the back legs and stuff. It's pretty bad. It's rehab for sure. This isn't your typical case. I mean, as far as how difficult it is for her, she's above average difficulty, but far from the worst I've ever seen. It's crazy to me that this is difficult to her, to lay down and not do anything. It's just so, it's the hardest thing in the world to her, and to allow dogs to be told to do nothing for a few minutes. You know, heck, 30 minutes an hour, do nothing. It seems near impossible until they get trained properly.
They couldn't even get her to sit for a half a second at the drop.
Yeah, no, I mean, her mind is, it does not exist in this realm unless she's sleeping. This is new for her. This is a new skill. And when you're around a dog that's pleasant, they know how to be calm. You know, they know how to take affection, and they know how to be happy, but calm. And they know how to be crazy too. And there's a time and a place to be crazy and have fun. But our rule of thumb is it's only when the humans offer it. We start it and we finish it, so that the dog doesn't get used to just going into that space whenever it feels the impulse to. They mature a little bit and they read the room and they realize maybe during dinner is not the time to be romping around, you know? Or maybe midday when we're trying to do computer work isn't the time to be romping around. Or even just moving around and like getting into shit. Even stuff as subtle as that, like if Riggins picked himself up and started checking out the kitchen, one of us would be like, what are you doing? Why are you going into the kitchen?
Click-clacking.
And that keeps the dog in their place, yeah. They shouldn't be moving too much unless you've told them to. You know what I mean? He shouldn't just be wandering around. After a while, like I barely tell Riggins what to do. He's got a routine. He's locked right in. We don't have to do anything, really. Direct him here and there if he's being annoying, but in the beginning, you gotta disagree with all this movement that's unwanted, you know, the dog just pacing around the house. It's not good. It never equals good stuff. It's not their kingdom, it's yours, right? In order to flex that on them, to let them know, one of the easiest ways that a leader will do that is regulate movements. So if we're relaxing and I catch somebody just wandering around, they're gonna correct it. It's an easy way to keep a dog in its place on the hierarchy. And a very important one too. See, when I start talking, she tends to struggle more and starts to amp up. And that's not just her. We see that all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
They'll be quiet, and then if I start talking, they take that opportunity to start stressing again.
Yeah, well, I think her owners did a lot of talking to her.
Yeah. So just a human's voice gets her excited.
Yes.
It's insane. It's insane. They don't come out of the womb like that. They don't come out of the womb feeling that way. That's created. But it's an unbalanced, it's not very balanced, you know. Although my understanding is that this dog was disciplined by their owners. Is that right?
They tried.
They did try to discipline
And
him.
that's when she was biting them.
And she fought back, yeah. So that's a risky take when you correct a dog is, are they going to correct you for correcting them? Are they going to redirect?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
It just goes to show that there's so many, you really need to make sure it's landing in the dog's head correctly and that you're doing it safely and that there's follow through and they understand exactly why they were being corrected. There's a lot of finesse to this stuff. It's so much more than just like hitting high numbers.
Yeah.
It's so much more than that. It's timing, it's intensity, it's...
Even e-collar aside though, even if you weren't talking with e-collar, you're just talking about raising a dog. You can discipline a dog. My God, I grew up, we didn't have e-collars when I was growing up. Discipline our dog still though, I'll tell you that. I think that way is this is more advanced to me.
Yes.
The e-collar. You can't just grab this and start willy-nilly hitting the dog because the thing is they don't know where it's coming from. Unless you explain it properly.
Right.
You don't need an e-collar to stop it.
Yeah.
But you definitely need a certain temperament though.
Yeah.
Dog doesn't believe you, they don't believe you. Simple as that. It is, they don't understand that when you're sitting on the couch and a dog comes up and starts nuzzling on you, that's not to be petted in the beginning of your relationship. That's to be corrected because you're supposed to be an elder dog putting it in its place. And then when it's in its place, then you can break some of the rules. But, you know, we send the wrong message. And then one day we're like, we're wondering why they don't listen. How often you see me let Riggins on that couch?
Never.
He doesn't go on the couch. You want to know why? Because he wants to be on that couch. And I need to flex somehow to put in his mind that I am above him on a daily basis. This is how the world goes round with these dogs. First time somebody knocked on our door and he barked, what's going to happen to him? It's not good. Or they're young. He knows I'm in a mood.
He knows you're talking about it.
He knows. He knows when to take his opportunities and get up and try to gamble too. He's learned me pretty well. He's like, he is serious right now, guys, but trust me, we got about 3 minutes to goof off until he starts, you know. That's good. You're filthy, bud. You're filthy. She's doing well. This is hard for her. This is going to be a game changer for her. We still haven't been able to get her to react to dogs on a leash, so
No.
we'll try our best.
Oh,
But
I had an idea.
yeah.
Tell me what you think. We keep her, because I'm not having Gabby come up here today.
Right.
Pouring down rain.
Rick's relax, bud.
We bring her to the pack walk,
Oh, that's a good idea.
and then Gabby takes her from there.
That's a good idea. Yep, that's the one. Smart.
Yeah.
That's good. And we'll have her flooded with like 20, 30 dogs. Plus the dogs we
In
walk by.
costume.
All in costume. Yeah, this right here is huge right here. This session, it looks like nothing. It's kind of like the boring sessions.
It's
know.
gonna be huge because tomorrow we'll bring her out. She'll immediately relax.
Yeah, this
I've
you.
seen it.
Oh, you know how it works.
I've
Yeah.
seen it. I saw it with Penny.
See it with Penny.
So my guess is what you're gonna do is, we'll obviously put her away, work some other dog, but then she's a dog that goes out with you to the studio.
Yes, that's right. She has to spend some real life time where I'm micromanaging her right now so she learns a skill. I am not going to be, this is not what her days look like in the future.
No.
What it looks like is one good correction for not doing the thing I just taught you and then it's over. But right now I'm getting reps, I'm teaching her all about it. And with dogs like this, we take 1 or 2 sessions like this. Sometimes even 3, you know, but once they get it, I don't have to sit here and do this, nor would I ever sit here and do this. I simply correct her for being elevated and she'll calm down. She'll use this skill, but as we do this more, she's not gonna have to just have her head down and breathe out her nose. She's gonna know, she's gonna pick her head up and she's gonna be completely calm, not panting her head off, and then I'm gonna say, good girl. And so I need to be around her So in order to do that, she goes out with me when I paint.
Yeah.
And she hangs out with me for a few hours, and I get all these opportunities here and there to keep it going. And then also over the weekend, she'll do duration plays maybe with you.
Absolutely.
And by the time she goes to Gabby, she'll be a pro at this. Well, she'll have some experience. And Gabby will just will proof it and do it out in public and actually put her in real situations where guests come over and stuff. She's a good dog.
Yeah.
She's a good
very
dog.
sweet.
There's this moment, I think there's a conscious thought about biting.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd bring that up because they can hear me, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna cut that off?
No.
Oh. I think that she did redirect on them, I could see that, but I also had a few moments where I see her thought about it with me.
Yeah.
And
This is work.
and it was right in this session too. I don't even know if you caught it on camera, but the first time wasn't in the session, but this time I corrected her and I put my hand on her. I was doing that on purpose, put my hand on her because I know she's a redirecting dog. And I seen her think about it. She went like this and thought about it, and then then I leaned into it and corrected her, and she ran to the place bed.
Yes.
Same
thing.
She thinks about biting.
She bit the leash on the first day.
She bit the leash consciously, 100%. She's seen the leash go. She went like this. So I do want it to be said that she actually thinks about biting you before she bites, which is an actual biting dog. That's an actual biting
and
dog.
she's practiced at it, and it works.
Right.
I'm sure after she bites her owners, everyone leaves her alone. They back up.
More than likely, her threshold for biting is going up, so that means she's less likely to bite. It was lower when she came here. Means that if I were to frustrate her a little bit, if I really wanted to, and I took her on a leash and I kind of just like yanked her around a little bit, she would be biting at that leash and then biting at my legs. Especially if I put her on a prong and I just started popping her a few times. That's a pretty low threshold, believe it or not. You know, most dogs should, you put a prong on and give them a couple pops, they don't bite back. They might yelp, but then they relax and take your direction. Here's where it is. If you go to correct a dog and then they correct you for correcting them, that's the stuff you gotta look out for. And I personally think this girl was working her way up to becoming a conscious biter. I think the situation would have happened eventually where you would have been asking for something and your hand would have came down, maybe grabbed her or something silly, and she would have nabbed you, or it would have kept being on the leg. But I do see intention behind it, just to clear that up. I know she redirects, but I've also seen intention behind some of this stuff. So, she also reads the room though. She has not taken a strike at me because she thought about it, but I've had enough experiences with her where she knows I'll retaliate. And so she chooses not to. And when she chooses not to, she gets rewarded for that, actually. So there's an easier way out with me than fighting me. Just relax. Usually it's always what I'm asking is for you to relax and to stop doing what you're doing. Okay? Overall, good dog. Definitely she needs to be in her place mentally on your hierarchy. Think about that. All right, she needs to know her place in the house and that she's not the one running the show. She's the one that's being directed, okay? She's the one that's following your direction. If she challenges you, you need to learn to identify when a dog is challenging you or when a dog's trying to brush off your authority and take it casually. She does that too. A lot of dogs do that, where you might tell her to do something or you might disagree with her and she'll just kind of be casual about it, or she might like try to love up on you immediately afterwards when you say, no, don't do that, and she tries to love up on you. Don't pet it, that kind of stuff. Correct that. Make sure she's always taking you seriously by, when she messes up, tell her no, or correct her, and then direct her, okay? This isn't a dog who has to be in constant command all the time for the rest of her life, but you want to use the commands a lot in the beginning so she gets the idea of, first of all, she gets a working relationship with you, which is that thing that you can use with emotions aside and you can get her to listen. You know, the commands, that's the working relationship. Where you say something, you tell her to do something, she does it. You tell her to stop, she stops. We need to make sure we have that. So we want to practice, we want to use it. We want to use our commands a lot. But then that'll become easy. That'll become easy, and then what you're going to do is you're going to let her start entering situations like, let's say we go into the living room. Instead of putting her on place, let her free. Going into the office, instead of putting her on place, let her free, or whatever. You're going out on this little hike, go somewhere where you can let her free a little bit and see what she does while she's free. And the idea of when she's free is what you're going to do is you're going to correct when she does something silly when she's free, so she can learn the things not to do when she's free. and just redirect her, right? So if she goes and starts sniffing on the counters because she's free, I'm gonna correct her and tell her to get on out of there. So that next time she knows, don't do that. That way she can learn what not to do, which is important. It's just as important as learning what to do, like go to place or lay down. We need to teach you what not to do by simply kind of allowing her to do it, correcting her for doing it, and then directing her until she no longer chooses those things we don't want. And that also goes for the outside behavior on the walks, going after dogs, which we'll be talking about in her go home. We'll actually be allowing her to make choices. You know, I won't have you in a command. We'll go walk by these dogs behind this fence and let's see what you do. Do you go up on the dog? Do you bark at the dog? Do you pull on the leash? Or do you simply stay next to me and be a good girl? Okay? Let her make the bad choice so that she can see what happens when she does that. And that's what keeps her in line. She knows the consequence. And I know you guys watch our videos and you know how we do it. Something went wrong in the process. Well, nothing went wrong in the process, by the way. You probably did it exactly right. By the sounds of it, you did it exactly right. And you had 2 dogs. And one of them responded well to the corrections, which means she must have submitted to some degree to your leadership. The other one fought it. And that is what happens. They're either going to fight, flee, or submit, right? And they all tend to, you know, the ones that submit right away, they come through here. They come through here more over at Gabby's place. So they're there, but most of the time we get dogs that are going to either try to run away from the situation or they're going to just start fighting the situation. And so you got a dog that fought, and so that doesn't mean you did it wrong. That just means you weren't prepared to deal with a dog who fought, right? Which is fine. With us, we do everything the same exact way as we did in our video that you used, except we know about the option of fighting and we're prepared for them to choose fight, and then we go down that avenue. So she would have chose fight if I was the first one to do it as well. We would have went down that avenue and finished it properly, and we would have got the same results, the good results. She would stop doing it, and she wouldn't be redirecting after a few sessions of cleanup. But fight is totally natural. Most dogs got it in them to fight back and to correct you for correcting them. That's part of the process. Maybe we're not clear in our videos, so that's a variable that absolutely can happen and does happen to just about every dog that comes through here because we get the difficult ones. We do the setups, they get corrected, and not all of them just stop. Some of them come at me, some of them fight it and go crazy. That part happens. That's their behavioral choice. That's their expression. That's their primitive instincts kicking in. That's part of the process. Get it out. Get it all out, and let's do it again. Let's get it out and do it again. But we know how to deal with it. We know how to allow the dog to do that without doing any damage to themselves or to us. Minimal, hopefully. And then we also know how to give a dog correction for that, and we also know how to submit a dog. And these are things that I wouldn't expect a dog owner to know how to do or to be able to do. So her fighting is totally natural as part of the process. She's got that out of her system. Now we go and do it again, and what happens is the dog gets a clear choice: go up to the dog or not. And, 2 or 3 reps down the road, they choose to ignore the dogs, and then they get a nice good girl, good boy, and we just keep that on repeat for the next few weeks. Keep exposing them to the dogs and letting them make the choice. Teaching them heel and all that stuff, but. That's how you do it. So I don't think you guys did anything wrong. I think she simply just was a little too much to handle because she fought back. That's all. Good news is, when it comes to her reactivity, well, we haven't seen it at all. Not even a little. Is that weird? Not even a little. So we're gonna take her on Sunday to the pack walk where there's a ton of dogs, and we're gonna see what happens. But I think we have a hierarchical thing. That's what I think. I think she thinks she's allowed to make these decisions, and then I think the corrections, she didn't know how to deal with the e-collar pressure, and so she didn't have coping skills, so she just fought. And the fight didn't end in her being submitted, so it didn't clean it up. Even if she bit you, but then you submitted it like proper, which I don't expect you to. You would make the progress. You would just took one for the team. You would have got bitten, but she would stop reacting to dogs. She would have. if she would have got submitted for biting you and then repeated it and bring them back out and just keep hammering her head. She's not going to keep doing it. I can tell because when we're here setting her up, she knows what not to do. She knows she knows what's on the table. And she had already been submitted by me beforehand. So I had submitted this dog before I put her in the situation of walking by other dogs. So therefore, when we walked by other dogs, she didn't do it because I've submitted her in a totally different situation. It translated to her not going after those dogs. Isn't that something? So the submission, just like in other training programs when we talk to them, that's not being done at home, and that's not being done at training programs. And to me, that's the key ingredient for a follower, a dog who actually is under you in the hierarchy. When you feel a dog who's like that, they're like butter. They're very enjoyable to be around because they just listen. Until you feel a dog like that, it's actually, you don't really know they exist, you know? But once you feel a dog like that, you're like, oh, I don't want a dog that's not like that. And so submitting a dog through situations that make sense to them, which is part of what we do here, has them look at you like you're higher up in their hierarchy, in their pack, which means they treat you like that, which means they listen to you. So if we see a dog and she starts doing her thing and I say, knock it off, she knocks it off. That's how that works, whether I like it or anyone else likes it or not. The submission's an important part of a relationship. Now what we do here is we get the submission on the e-collar. So you get to bring that home. The same sensation that she feels while I submitted her association to the stim, it's on here. I've created that. I've created the association of the stim to mean submit, you know. It's in there. So then when we give this to you, it transfers to the best of our ability without you actually having to submit her for the first time like I did. Okay, and every dog that comes through here gets submitted. Every single dog. It's part of the ritual of gaining a follower in your pack. Just how it goes. I didn't come up with the rules. They did, you know? So if that's missing, the submission process, if that's missing, you know, then it's never gonna feel right. And there possibly is a bite under the hood of a dog that we might bump into, okay? She's doing really good. This is amazing, good progress. We're gonna leave it here and pick up on it on her next duration session. But this is huge for her. Look, she's regulated. She's not shaking in the back. She's breathing through her nose. It's a little bit bouncy, but this is huge for her. This is huge for her. This is what she needs to learn to do, okay? And then the next thing is getting her approved by Gabby next week and everything. Okay, in the package. Let me release her real quick before you go over there. Lila. Break. Good job, nice work. I think you did amazing. Good job. Good job. That's not easy, huh? No, it's not, but we did.